The race to become the next All Blacks head coach has taken a dramatic turn, with reports suggesting that Jamie Joseph is unhappy with how New Zealand Rugby, NZR, is handling the recruitment process. Joseph, currently in charge of the Highlanders, has emerged as one of the leading contenders to replace Scott Robertson, alongside former Wallabies boss Dave Rennie. While NZR's board is expected to announce its decision in the second week of March, the process leading up to that moment has reportedly caused frustration behind the scenes. A detailed and controversial selection process. NZR has assembled a 5-person appointment panel to determine who will take charge of the All Blacks for the next cycle. The panel includes former All Blacks hookers Dane Coles and Keven Mealamu, head of high performance Don Tricker, acting chief executive Steve Lancaster, and chairman David Kirk, as part of what NZR describes as a comprehensive and thorough recruitment process. Coles and Lancaster recently spent time with the Highlanders. They observed training sessions, monitored Joseph's interactions with players and staff, and reportedly assessed how he conducts team meetings and prepares his side tactically. The panel is also set to travel to Japan to observe Rennie in action with the Kobelco Kobe Steelers, ensuring parity in their evaluation of both candidates. On the surface, this appears to be due diligence, a governing body taking its responsibilities seriously by scrutinizing every aspect of its potential leaders. However, reports from the New Zealand Herald suggest that Joseph has taken exception to the approach. Joseph miffed by observers. According to the Herald, Joseph is miffed that after a long and distinguished coaching career within New Zealand Rugby, he is effectively being reassessed under observation. Joseph's resume includes head coaching roles with Wellington, the Highlanders, the Maori All Blacks, and, as recently as last year, the All Blacks 15. He also spent a successful stint in charge of Japan's national team, enhancing his international credentials. From Joseph's perspective, his body of work is well documented. He may feel that sitting in on his sessions to take notes suggests a lack of institutional memory or confidence in his track record. The report further claims that Joseph is perturbed by the emphasis on interview performance in determining the outcome. He is understood to believe that coaching achievements, sustained success across multiple environments, should outweigh presentation skills in a formal interview setting. In elite sport, where results are the ultimate currency, that sentiment resonates with many observers. Rennie's parallel journey. Meanwhile, Rennie's candidacy brings its own intrigue. Although he has not coached in New Zealand since 2017, his achievements within the domestic game remain significant. Rennie led the Chiefs to back-to-back Super Rugby titles and previously coached Manawatu, Wellington, and New Zealand under-20s. Since leaving New Zealand, he has built an extensive international resume, guiding Glasgow Warriors to a Pro 12 title, taking charge of Australia, and now coaching in Japan with Kobe. Like Joseph, Rennie is reported to have little appetite for forming a dream team coaching partnership. Despite calls from pundits and fans for the two to combine forces, both men are said to want the top job outright. This dynamic adds another layer of complexity to NZR's deliberations. The coaching staff question complicating matters further is the structure of the All Blacks' broader coaching team. Potential assistant coaches are not required to pledge allegiance to either candidate, a move designed to maintain neutrality during the selection process. However, this has reportedly caused friction in some quarters and contributed to instability during Robertson's tenure. When Robertson took over in 2024, he leaned heavily on a Crusaders-centric coaching group, including Scott Hansen, Jason Ryan, Tamati Ellison, and Bryn Evans. Critics argued that the staff lacked extensive international experience, creating challenges during key test windows. Chairman David Kirk has confirmed that the incoming head coach will have the authority to retain existing staff or bring in new assistants. That flexibility may appeal to Joseph and Rennie alike, both of whom have strong views on high-performance structures that a stark contrast with football in a strongly worded column. Journalist Gregor Paul questioned the robustness of NZR succession planning. He argued that elite football clubs typically maintain detailed intelligence on coaches worldwide, allowing them to move decisively when managerial changes occur. By contrast, Paul suggested that NZR's process, involving observation visits and heavy reliance on interviews, appears reactive rather than strategic, that he described the approach as archaic and indicative of a malfunction within what is supposed to be a world-leading high-performance program. Kirk himself reportedly admitted that NZR did not have a clear successor lined up when Robertson's departure became imminent, an admission that has fueled criticism that, if accurate, that lack of foresight would represent a significant oversight for an organization renowned for its structured development pathways. The pressure of a defining year, the timing of this appointment heightens its importance. The All Blacks face a defining season, including high-profile clashes in the so-called Greatest Rivalry Series against the South Africa and National Rugby Union team. Former All Blacks captain Sean Fitzpatrick has already voiced concerns about the team's preparation and the broader direction of New Zealand rugby. Against that backdrop, the selection of the next head coach carries enormous weight. It is not simply about tactical acumen, but about restoring clarity, cohesion, and long-term vision. Due diligence or distrust? At the heart of the controversy lies a philosophical question. How should elite organizations appoint leaders? From NZR's perspective, observing candidates in their current roles provides real-time insight into communication style, cultural alignment, and player management. Interviews allow candidates to articulate strategic vision and address future challenges. Yet from Joseph's standpoint, the need for such scrutiny may feel redundant. His career achievements are not hypothetical. They're tangible and measurable. The tension reflects differing interpretations of professionalism. Is exhaustive evaluation a sign of excellence, or does it suggest uncertainty? The human element coaching appointments are never purely analytical. Personality, chemistry, and trust all play crucial roles. Joseph's reported frustration may not derail his candidacy, but it underscores the emotional stakes involved. For a coach who has devoted decades to New Zealand rugby, the perception of being re-examined could feel like a slight. Rennie, operating overseas, may view the same process as a fair opportunity to demonstrate his evolution since leaving New Zealand. Both men are seasoned professionals, yet the nuances of perception matter. What happens next? The board's decision is expected imminently. Whether NZR opts for Joseph's domestic continuity and recent integration within the national framework, or Rennie's broader international exposure and previous Super Rugby success, the appointment will signal the organization's priorities. If Joseph is selected, it may affirm belief in homegrown experience and familiarity with the current player pool. That if Rennie gets the nod, it could reflect a desire for fresh perspective and external insight. Either way, the debate surrounding the process has already exposed fault lines within New Zealand rugby's governance model that attest of leadership beyond the field. Ultimately, this saga is about more than one job vacancy. It is a test of how a proud rugby nation manages succession, balances transparency with efficiency, and respects the achievements of its own coaching talent. As the All Blacks prepare for another pivotal chapter, the appointment panel's choice will shape not only tactical direction, but also organizational credibility. For Joseph, the reported irritation may fade if he secures the role. For Rennie, the scrutiny could serve as motivation. For NZR, however, the episode serves as a reminder that even the most decorated rugby nation must continually refine how it identifies and empowers its leaders. In the coming weeks, clarity will emerge. Until then, the selection process itself remains under the spotlight, a reflection of the immense expectations that accompany the All Blacks jersey.